It's been a crazy week in markets. It's got everybody feeling like they're Jared Vennet in that scene from The Big Short with the Jenga tower. You know, oh, British bonds are going to zero. Nuclear war with Russia. Oh no. Credit Suisse and Deutsche are gonna fail. Okay, calm down. You didn't even know how to spell Deutsche until a week ago. All right, so let's just all take a deep breath and chill out, okay? Everything will be all right. If there's anything we've learned from markets by now, it's that there's always opportunity when people are panicking, especially in crypto, okay? So there's lots of stuff that we can make money on while everybody else is freaking out. So, welcome to Daily Bread. Thank you so much for coming. My name is David. I'm your host. I'm glad you all came. We are no longer DeFi Mafia. This is the first ever episode of Daily Bread. Let's get into it. So we got lots to talk about. Let's get right into the plays for the week and see what we are looking at. So first off, I wanted to talk a little bit about the news that came out last week at Cosmoverse. The biggest thing being the USDC chain that Circle is launching to make USDC essentially interoperable across many different chains natively, and the bridges they're partnering with. One really interesting thing that I did pick up is that someone asked Zaki, who is the founder or co-founder of Cosmos, if Atom stakers will get USDC fees from the transactions, and he said yes, they will. So how much that will be, we don't know, but that is somewhat of a long-term bullish catalyst for Atom. Obviously, Atom just went on like a complete rip of a run, so it's cooling off a bit now, so I'm not saying to get in, but very interesting to note as far as news goes. Another thing that was interesting about this is you can see the partners here, right? You've got like Allbridge, you know, Ava Labs, all these guys, Axelar, Layer Zero, etc., Wormhole. But one interesting thing was that they said Layer Zero, not Stargate, which Stargate is Layer Zero's product, which is a multi-chain bridge. But this USDC protocol will not be using Stargate, it will be using Layer Zero. That sounds pretty bearish to me for STG. Not that that coin behaves normally at all, but it could be a potential short catalyst at some point if Layer Zero kind of sunsets STG. I don't understand Layer Zero's process here with Stargate versus their own Layer Zero technology. It's a bit confusing, and I think a lot of other people are confused too. I think people were confused when they didn't see Stargate on this, but that was something to note. Another small thing, and maybe this is just something that will come down the road, but I didn't see Synapse or Multichain announced as any of the partners, and obviously those are two of the largest bridges at the moment. So that's something to keep in note too. Obviously, Cosmos, one of their biggest things is that they're promoting their IBC, their inter blockchain protocol, where they don't even need bridges, right? And so it's going to be interesting to see. But you have Wormhole, so that's why it didn't really make sense. It didn't make sense that you have Wormhole and not Synapse, unless there's something going on in the background there. So that was something I noticed from this. But let's move on into some alt plays. The first one I wanted to talk about was Elrond. Elrond, funnily enough, they were actually the top performer of the day as I was making this video, which is really interesting. So I almost felt like I was late with the alpha. But if we go and pull up the Elrond chart here for a second. Actually, let's go to CoinGecko. Okay, so they're down to, whatever, over here. But they're still up 7% for the day. They were one of the top performers of the top 100 today. But yeah, if we pull up the chart here on the 2-day, you can see, obviously, they're down quite a bit from the top. Like, from the Pico top, it's down, literally 90%. At the very bottom, it was down about 92, 93. So, it's clearly down quite a bit. But that's all right, because we can see here that we have a bit of a bullish trend. Let me grab my brush here. You know, obviously you have the Pico bottom here, and then when you zoom in, we're curling up a little bit here. Now, I would caution going long here because we are approaching a bit of the mid channel. And so if let's zoom in here actually. Let's go down to the 4 hour here. So if we zoom in, I would be looking at these levels here, right? So you've got a bit of a range being set up here. And so it's a decent long. Obviously, again, unfortunately, I wish it hadn't pumped today already a little bit, but that's okay. Because in all reality, it may come back down and retest. But, you know, you're looking somewhere in this range. Like if we were to grab a box here, somewhere in this range is where we're going to head to. And what you want to see for Elrond going into their conference next month is a bullish continuation. So we'll probably, if you're looking to long Elrond here, I would probably look for something like if we could retest at least, I don't know, maybe possibly this level, maybe here, right? Like if we were to draw a line here, like something around here, right? So if we came back down, retested about $50 and then continued, I think this box is where we're going to have a bit of trouble and we might end up chopping a bit. But the bullish continuation would be obviously coming down here, getting into this little box, and then if we break out again, right? That's a decent long in my opinion. I think the catalyst of the conferences has worked pretty well. We saw it work with Atom and Chainlink over the last couple of weeks with their respective conferences. And so this one being about a month out, you should have time to position. This was a nice little run, so I wouldn't FOMO in. But again, if we were to retest this like 50 area, maybe even deviate a little lower back down towards like 48, 49, and then you can get your long down in here, getting ready for the move back up into this box into the mid-range. And then once we get in the mid-range, that's where, you know, obviously we'll have to see what the price does. Maybe it'll just reject back down. At that point, you know, you probably take some profit here anyways, and then see what happens and position yourself to long the range high test. Because in all reality, if we go look at Elrond, their market cap is not crazy high, right? It's about 1.2 billion, which compared to other L1s, like if we're looking at NEAR or AVAX, which have somewhat of more ecosystems, but not really, right? Like if we go back to the slides for a second, we do have some interesting catalysts. So they partnered with Opera. Opera launched their like own version of browser. If you don't know Opera, they're a browser. They're actually like, I used to use Opera back in the day. I used to be a Firefox and Opera guy, okay? Because I didn't want to use Chrome because I was a cool kid, all right? Anyways, I don't know how popular Opera is today. They say they have 300 million users. I don't know if that's totally true, but either way, they're one of the like Firefox type alternative browsers. But now they have a crypto browser that's very similar to Brave's, and Elrond just got integrated with that. So anyways, this is just purely a trade longing into the conference with that meta. Again, I wouldn't go long here. I would wait for like a retest of like 49.50, see what happens if it holds, and then try to long for the continuation up towards the range high. So let's move on from Elrond and get into REN. So REN's an interesting one because it's one of the OG like DeFi protocols. Initially what REN was essentially like a wrapper. Before we had lots of bridges and wrapping solutions, REN was one of the first, most famously for REN BTC, which still gets a lot of use to this day. Well, obviously things have changed and there's tons of ways to wrap tokens and to bridge things around. So REN needs to adapt themselves, and they're doing some interesting things. They're launching REN 2.0, which is going to be an EVM and multi-chain solution for applications to build on top of them. And REN will be used for the like validators and for gas on this EVM chain. So I think it's a decent play. Again, this is just a trade. If we go and look again at the REN chart, again, it actually had a bullish day again too. It's been moving decently. But if we zoom out, actually, let's look at the high time frames first real quick. Let's go to the 2-day. Again, very similar. It's down quite a bit from the top last year, but we seem to have found a bottom. And there's a couple interesting things when you look at this chart. First, you see this wild wick that we had over there, which seems to show that there are people trying to get bids filled on REN ahead of time. Because normally when this happens, this means someone's trying to place a big order. Now, obviously, that happened to be at the top of the range. I don't know if it was a fat finger or what happened there, but certainly a mistake because that person's down bad now. But either way, we came back to the bottom of this range. And now I think we will possibly return up towards this area here, around like 14 cents. I think that's a pretty easy one. Again, similar to EGLD, that this thing has started a bit. Probably wait a little bit to see if we go back. If we zoom in here, let's go to like the 2 hour on this guy. If we zoom in here, we've got the monthly open that was roughly at, what, 1170. That would probably be a decent place to long if we retest. At the very least, I would say wait until we get to probably retest at like 12 cents of it, just to get a slightly better entry, because this is like a risky play, and it has moved a decent amount off the bottom. Let's see what it's moved off the range bottom. Yeah, it's already up 20%. I think that play for this back towards the top of this range, though, is very, very possible if we get the launch, which they said it was supposed to launch at the end of September, but it didn't. Obviously, it's October now, and so now they're saying it could launch literally at any moment. So it's interesting that it caught a bit of a bid in the last day or two. So it's definitely another coin that I would watch for a quick trade if we can get like up to probably, that would be a 40% move if we were to go back to like 17 cents. And then obviously we could see a 50% plus move if we were to move back up towards the top of the range. So another decent play I'm paying attention to right now. Next up, we've got Polygon. So I did a little sleuthing on Polygon. Some interesting stuff. So Robinhood launched their Web3 wallet recently. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. And a very interesting thing is that it's in beta right now with 10,000 users, and it's only using Polygon's blockchain for this test wallet. It's not clear if they will be operating on many chains once the full wallet is live. I'm assuming they will, but it's very interesting that they chose Polygon as the first one. It's also interesting that Sam, Mr. SBF, is the third largest shareholder in Robinhood now. If people don't remember, he made that purchase, I think it was in June or July. It was when he was going on his like acquisition spree post the crash. So he's definitely giving them guidance on this wallet. And I was curious to see how much money MATIC Robinhood had in crypto assets. And so I went to their SEC filings, their last quarterly report, and I was able to find, they call it asset. This was not super easy to find. It took me a little bit, but it's called assets related to user cryptocurrencies safeguarding obligation. That is a mouthful, but that just basically means how many crypto assets they hold, and it's just about 8.6 billion as of June 30th. It was 11 billion, I think, when they IPO'd last year. So obviously that was during the bull market, and now we're in the bear. But that's 8.6 billion worth of assets that are stuck on Robinhood because they don't have a wallet right now that could be moved more on-chain later. It's interesting. The other thing that I like about MATIC is just that this chart has been so strong. If we go look at MATIC here, pull it up. Like when you zoom out on MATIC, if we go to the weekly, right? Here's the thing. So obviously it had like its major drawdown like everybody else. It went all the way about basically full 90% retrace. But the very interesting thing is what it has done since the drawdown. It's moved from the Pico bottom. It moved up as much as 234%. It is still 150% off the bottom. And it's held strong in this area compared to like obviously if we go look at BTC, which from its bottom, it went up, 40% and now is back only up 10% from its bottom. ETH, similar, is not up nearly as much. So MATIC has been very strong, right? ETH is up about 50% from its bottom. MATIC, like I said, is up 150%. So that's pretty interesting. The thing with MATIC, though, is that it's just not that easy to trade because okay, look at this chart, right? I mean, the problem is that if you long here, like, what are you really longing for, right? Are you going to long for like a retest of the top of this range? You could do that. It's just market conditions are a bit iffy. Or are you going to long for maybe the breakout and retest? But then it's like, is it really going to just like go for it and go back towards like, I mean, the last time it was at, whatever this like say $1.20, like the last time it was at $1.20 it was like, I don't even know, like basically right at the end of the bull market. So the problem is it's not in a great position to long, but that also kind of tells me if I'm thinking the opposite way, maybe that means you should just start accumulating a little bit of this and holding on to it over time if it's something you believe in, which there's a lot of other stuff about MATIC that I could get into as far as the fundamental side. They have tons of ZK tech that they're developing. I think MATIC gets a lot of bad rap because people don't like their or didn't like their EVM chain that they launched it was like early 2021, end of 2020. Because fair enough, it was pretty shite, okay, if we're being honest here. But they've made tons of improvements since then. They have partnerships with Facebook. They poached YouTube's gaming's head of gaming, Fwiz, who's a pretty smart guy in the gaming industry. People know him from the esports world. He's now head of Polygon Gaming and has been for a little bit. Like, they have a lot going for them. So it makes sense. And then the chart showing this type of strength, it's a good sign. So if you're looking for a long on MATIC, it's not something I would like try to get into right away. Frankly, if we kind of retest this level at like 75 cents again, that'd probably be a decent spot to get in. But the long play here would very simply just be for another range play up to $1.05, which isn't bad. I wouldn't use leverage on this or anything. If you're trying to long it, I would stick to spot or low leverage. But you know what? That's a roughly 30% move, so that's not bad. 30%, we'll take that in a bear market all day long. So it's just interesting. Lots of strength on MATIC and whispers on the fundamental side of bullishness. It's just a matter of if this were, I think if this was a bull market, MATIC would be absolutely ripping on types of news like this, but because it's a bear, it's just kind of holding, right? But at least it's not crashing. That's really the interesting thing, because I was actually short MATIC over here when it broke down, and then I ended up closing when it started to turn around, and it actually held. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be completely wrong and it'll completely break down. But yeah, I think it may just end up staying in this range for a little bit. So, all right, let's get back to next up. We've got Gains. This one has been, Gains Network has been a bit of a pain to trade, if I'm being honest with you. But it's been doing well for people who have been swinging it. So if we go here and look, Gains has been ripping in the last week, and I was trying to analyze a little bit why. It's just seeing a lot of volume growth. Lots of people are using it. So you have that 46 million daily volume. I compared it to GMX, this bottom left here. This is GMX. So GMX did 170 million total volume today. Gains did 46 million. And GMX did 65,000 in revenue, and Gains did 25,000 in revenue today. Very, the thing that's unique about Gains, and a lot of people are using it for, is the FX pairs. They're using it for like Forex and things like this. Gains has more pairs than GMX. Now, GMX is going to add more stuff soon, apparently. I'll probably talk about that in a future video. But Gains is one to watch. It's been very strong. They also are only on Polygon right now, and they're looking to expand to AIRDROPS where GMX is, and I think that will be a very strong catalyst for them. It's kind of up in the air when that's going to happen, though, because they've been talking about that for like, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months now. I think I remember like in August people were talking about that. So obviously it's October now. It hasn't happened yet. So I'll keep you updated on if I hear anything about Gains going over to AIRDROPS being confirmed. The risk with Gains is that it's not a DAO like GMX. It's run by a multi-sig that apparently is controlled by one anonymous developer. So that's a bit scary. People have a lot of trust in this developer. So hopefully that will be okay, but this is crypto. I don't like to blindly trust people. So that's like the drawback if you're looking to long-term hold Gains. But I think they are going to switch off of that supposedly soon. And if, they were going to rug by now, they probably would have done it. I know that's a bad analysis, but that's kind of my basic theory. I think Gains has a lot of strength. Like, if we go back to the chart here on Gains and take a look at it, I actually have to go to deck screener for this one. My chart's a little messy here because this is like, I've been actively trading this one. But you can actually see this box is where I was hoping to get into Gains and long it, but didn't get a chance because it didn't come in here. And so I did miss this move up that it had, which has been a nice like 45, almost 50% move. But yeah, it's been rocking and rolling. I rode this first leg and then sold like somewhere on the way down. Actually, no, I did sell. Swear to God, I actually did sell the top on this one, but I didn't get down on here. I got in like somewhere around here. Anyways, the thing with Gains though is that it's such a difficult coin to trade because it kind of moves on its own away from the market. Now it can have absolute puke days, like you can see on the chart here. When the market goes down, like I think this was, what day was this? August 13th. Yeah, I think this was the same day that ETH kind of lost 2K, so it really puked. So yeah, Gains is a little bit tough to trade, but if I'm looking at Gains, what I would hope for here at the very least is, if I'm looking to get long, I think you want to see a retest of ideally 207, this level around here. Even better, frankly, would be somewhere more down in this range, but I think that's a little optimistic. The thing with Gains though is that the market cap is roughly like, I think, what does it say over here? 60 million, and GMX's is about 330 whatever million. Obviously fluctuates day to day. So it's about 1/5 of the market cap, but it's doing about 1/3 of the fees, and it's grown like 50% month over month in volume, which is really fast. So if it continues on that trend, it may very well catch up to GMX in volume as a derivatives platform. And obviously, GMX is kind of the king right now. So that's like the bull case. If you think that Gains is going to continue to grow, which I actually do think they will, obviously a lot of this is just contingent on overall market activity, but I think they will continue to grow. At the very least, I think that they'll start getting towards that like $100 million a day volume, which would be like, as we looked at, GMX did like 170 mil. So I think they can get at least to half of what GMX got to. So I think this could easily get back to this high here. If not, back to the 350 high. But again, we're in a bear market, right? So this is very much like a dangerous not dangerous, but like play it level to level, right? Understand the risk you're taking. I would not long it here. I would certainly wait for a pullback at least 207 here, which would be, you know what, like 6-7% down, and then start adding into a position maybe around there. And then again, I would certainly take profit if we do get close to this upper high again. And then if you want to leave a small bag to see if we get back up here again, that's okay. But I would just be very cautious in this market. Play it level to level. Don't get super aggressive. And again, be patient. Wait for retest. Don't FOMO anything. There's no reason to have FOMO in this market. But hey, it's always fun to find good projects that are really outperforming while everything's down. So, all right, let's get back to next up. Hummus. This one's dear to my heart. This is a microcap coin. For like fair warning, this is a sub $1 million market cap coin. Extremely risky. Do not buy this if you don't know what you're doing. This is on Metis. Metis, if you don't know, is a L2 on Ethereum. You can bridge there pretty easily. They have a native bridge, or you can bridge with Synapse, which makes it super easily. Just go to Synapse. The reason I'm interested in Hummus is because Hummus is the only authorized Platypus Finance fork. And what that means, if you don't know what Platypus is, it's kind of like Curve, but they have their own unique characteristics to it. And they launched initially on Avalanche, and when they did, it was like a huge deal back in the bull market. If you don't remember, or you weren't around for that. The thing with Platypus, though, is that it's a copyrighted code, so it's not open license like a lot of crypto stuff is. So you can't just fork Platypus. But Hummus got approval from the Platypus team to fork it, and they're the only authorized Platypus fork at the moment. So think of them like kind of like a Curve on steroids with their own type of Ponzi-nomics. But anyways, why should you care about Hummus besides that? Well, it's not so much about Hummus, it's about Aave. And I have some screenshots from some digging in the Aave forums here. You can see that this Pisinilikov, I don't know how to say that. We're going to call him well, I don't know. P. All right, Pushing P over here proposed from Metis that they basically have all the requirements for Aave to launch on Metis. And this guy, DNM, call him D, Big D. We got Pushing P and Big D over here. Okay, this is stupid. D over here basically said, thank you. This is a great response. Blah, blah, blah. How long until you submit the proposal? Basically saying the proposal for Aave to come over to Metis. And Pushing P said, thank you for asking, blah, blah, blah. We'd likely want to give it a little more time and an announcement within the next few weeks. This was literally 3 days ago, but probably 4 days ago by the time this video comes out. So that means that we can likely expect the vote for this to happen in October. And if it does, it's very likely to pass. And that would mean that a lot of money is probably going to move over to Metis. So if you want to get in on something like Hummus, now is probably the time to start building a small position, because here is why. This is the chart of Optimism's TVL. Optimism did a very similar thing. They're also an L2 for Ethereum, and they had their own incentive program with Aave that launched, and you can see this big jump right here in their TVL from a few hundred million up to over $1 billion. I think it was 1.1, 1.2 billion. When the Aave incentive program launched. And obviously, a lot of the money that gets moved over is going to be stablecoins, right? If people want to go get all those incentives over on Metis, if this does happen, which it looks like it will, based on this, a lot of people are going to move those stablecoins over. Well, what are they going to need to do if they want to go buy the stuff on Metis? They're going to need a stable swap. Oh, well, who has the only stable swap on Metis? Hummus does. So that's basically the theory here with the Hummus play. If you want to buy Hummus, the ticker is Hum. Again, this is a super risky play, so play it very cautiously. If we open up the Hummus chart here, we gotta go to Hum. Over on Menace. By the way, if you don't know how to like get to these pairs, it's very easy. If you go to deckscreener.com, you just click over here, this little button on the right side. You just go over here, and in this case, it says trade on REN Protocol. That's like their main dex over there. So, anyways, if we look at the Hummus chart, it's a bit of a doozy. Let's zoom out here to the daily here. Obviously, it is down quite a bit from its launch before. The thing with Hummus is that it does have emissions, so that's why the timing on this is kind of a little bit of the tricky part. But it operates very similar to Curve. They have V tokenomics, VE meaning vote escrow, so you can get vote Hum and lock your tokens and get extra yield on your stable coins. Again, it's a Platypus fork, so if you go to like Platypus Finance, I'll link in the description if you want to read all about this. But basically, they kind of it's a bit Ponzi-nomic. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's okay. We like Ponzi-nomic for our trades. So the thing I like with Hummus is that we're at 820k market cap right now. I think it's very reasonable that something like this, if the Aave incentive program were to go live, you could probably get up 3, 4, 5 mil market cap. I don't think that's crazy to say. And so that would obviously be anywhere from like a 3 to 5x on this thing. But it's something you're going to have to be a little patient with. And I'll give updates, obviously, in future videos on the status of the Aave launch. But it's something I would keep a close eye on and add to your watch list, because if it does happen, people are going to try to front run this trade, and you don't want to start getting in when this thing's already like a $2 million market cap because a bunch of people bought in because they realized that, Aave is coming over. So something to keep in mind. It's something that I'm definitely looking closely at playing. I've been in Hummus before, been in and out of it, and I'm going to look to get into it probably again once we get a little more confidence on the confirmation for the Aave partnership. So let's go back. We are almost done here. We're through most of the alt plays, and now we are on airdrops. So wanted to add a little section each week just for airdrops. If there's anything that I know about that you can get free money on, because who doesn't like free money? It's the easiest way to make money in crypto. So there's one for Atom, Juno, or Secret Stakers, if that is you. If you're not, I highly recommend doing that. Cosmos ecosystem has tons of airdrops all the time for random stuff. So like I have some like Atom staked just for this. So go like stake. You have to stake that much. I think I have like 10 Atom staked or something like that, and I just leave it over there. And I get airdrops. So one that just happened this week is called Jackal. I'll leave a link in the description. If you did stake Atom or Juno or Secret, you can go see if you qualify for that. And it launches October 26th. And that's when you'll get your airdrop. It's going to be on the Secret network, I believe. So if you have a Kepler wallet, you can go do that. If you don't know what all that stuff is, don't worry about it. But I recommend you go look up some stuff on Kepler and Cosmos, because there's a lot of airdrops over there. I'm going to do more videos on the whole Cosmos ecosystem in the future. And then the other one that's super easy is ZK Sync just launched their testnet. Now, this isn't a confirmed airdrop, but I would guess that by the way they are doing it, there is very likely to be an airdrop, because basically I'll show you here how you have to do it over here. Again, I'll put this link in the description. Just go to this page. It's v2.zksync.io. This is their testnet. You click give it a try, and then you'll come over here. And then you won't have any money in your wallet. And what you'll need to do is on the left side over here, go to Faucet, and then click on request funds from Faucet. And when you do, it will open up. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to open up my Twitter, but it will open up your Twitter and have you tweet. I recommend you make a dummy wallet for this so that you don't share your public wallet. But basically, I'll just have you do a tweet and say, I'm requesting money from the faucet, and then you'll get money in there. This is not real money, unfortunately, so don't get excited. It's not a real 700. It's testnet money. But you may get even more than that when they do their airdrop. So you should do it. It takes like 2 minutes. So go click the link in the description. But that's pretty much it. And you can delete the tweet afterwards. You don't have to keep it up. So that's about it for airdrops. Let's go back. Shorts. So the final thing I wanted to cover is the shorts. I only have one major short, and that is ImmutableX. I'm not a big fan of token unlock shorts, but in this case, I am, because it's such a huge, ridiculous token unlock. So ImmutableX, if you don't know, it's like a another. Is it technically an L2 for Ethereum? I don't know if that's actually accurate, but anyways, it's an Ethereum adjacent chain. Let's call it that. Side chain L2, something like that. But anyways, they're focused on like NFTs and gaming and whatever. They did Gary V's book NFT, which I bought and lost money on. Thanks, Gary V. Shout out. Anyways, they have a massive token unlock that you can see here. Basically, the total circulating supply at the moment is about 235 million tokens, and this unlock on November 5th is unlocking 254 million tokens, so more than the circulating supply. Now, half of it goes to their like development fund, so obviously that's not all going to be dumped all at once, but that is used to like pay other projects to work with them and pay other people and whatever. So those people who get it will probably dump their tokens, but that'll be a little slowly over time. But the big one is that 125 million tokens, or half of the circulating supply, is going to be given to the private sale people, which is basically the VCs, the seed round, all that stuff, the early investors who have been holding this thing forever and are probably down bad on this from the top and are looking to dump their tokens. Well, half of the supply is getting unlocked. And then as you can see on the chart here, it just keeps going up, okay? That thing is just like up only as far as the unlocks. So how you play this is going to be a little interesting. Going into unlocks, it's actually been a little bullish because they may try to pump the price going into it. That's been a bit of a meta. So I would not like hop into a long or a short just yet. But this does happen on November 5th. I think that it's pretty safe to short, like probably anytime, like, I don't know. I would wait. If you see a big pump on it, like in the few days before, and I'll keep updated on this, but if we see a big pump a few days before, I would definitely short that pump because it's probably going to go back down after that. Again, it's such a huge, ridiculous unlock that I think a lot of people who are holding it that don't even have their tokens locked are going to start panicking and dumping this thing going into this. So I think that's one of the more obvious shorts, but that's the main one for now. There will be other shorts for sure coming soon, but for now, that's the main one I'm interested in. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. This was the first episode of Daily Bread. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to mess with the format quite a bit. This was a longer form video. We're going to have lots of shorter form videos coming out as well too. The Daily Bread podcast where we're going to do interviews and stuff is going to happen as well. If you've gone this far, I really, really appreciate it. If you could leave a like and, obviously subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment. Could you leave a comment? If you made it this far, leave a comment saying, I don't know, let's get this bread. Let's get this bread is the comment if you did make it this far. I really appreciate you watching. If you have feedback, let me know. I want to improve these videos. I want to give like actual tangible alpha in these videos every week. So lots more content to come.